This is sometimes a good way of finding out if your crank is in the right place. If you put numbers across the top of your changer and put it on the guitar like that, remember this is the front, this is number 1, so this actual crank needs to be between 1, 2 and 6, so it's there, and that's somewhere around right there, I think. That's right, that's the hole. Little indent in the rod, cross rod. Okay, we'll just wind this up. Okay, that's your right knee lever left. And that's in the right position for your 6th string and your 1st and 2nd string. That's about right, I think. Okay, now this is the right knee lever right, and it's got a crank on the spindle. There's a reverser here that you can see, so that when I go with my knee like that, it will turn it that way. It will turn it the opposite way. So this is what we want, because the knee is actually going towards the pull bar, but we want the crank to go the other way. So it's a bit like that. You can, if you like, instead of making that, you can make another reversing bar like we did at the other end and stick it here, but it might just be in the way. So this is why I've tried to do this one like this. So what we need to do here is, in that bolt we've made a little indent in the side, so we treat that the same as a rod that goes across, but we don't need to put that right across. Okay, so that dent will go down to line up with the screw that's going through. We're somewhere close to 9, 2, almost in the middle. Okay, that's the knee levers and the pedals, cranks in place. You can see that these actually sit down the same as they did at the other end. So you've got a nice, and don't forget the wood will go on the sides in a minute. We should put some the side bodies on in a minute. You can see now that I've now put the string lowering rods on. All looks quite busy in there, but it's quite simple really. Once you've got it all up together, it'll be alright. As long as you give yourself enough space between the yokes so that they can move. They only move about 10 mil, 15 mil. They don't move very much at all. So you don't have to you don't need a lot of room. This is the tuner that is on the underside of the body. You see the tuner which adjusts with a screw and the rod actually going through the bolt, and then there's a stop. And the next thing we must put on that actual rod before we put it on is a link. This link is just a flat piece of bar with 2 holes in it, and what that does is it relieves any back pressure on this rod when you actually press pedal 3 and you make the second move with the same changer. There you are, you're now ready to put the body on, turn it over, put the legs on, just see if it all sits where you want it to sit. To make sure that your legs work with the knee levers and the pedals. Just double check everything. Always double check everything anyway, even when you're putting I've had to move 1 or 2 bits and pieces because I'd made a mistake with it. So everybody's likely to make a mistake of some sort, so just keep that in mind. Put the body on, put the legs on, turn it over, sit behind it and see if it all works. Then it'll be time then to put the strings on. Then we can check and tune up. By this time you should have a chromatic tuner. Make sure that you buy one with a pitch button on it as well, because concert pitch is 440, what they call 440, and there's variations for tempered tuning. So I'll talk about that more when we get to the tuning stage.